We now cross live to our reporter, Aldrin Sampear, who is in Pretoria, and he's been following the proceedings for us. Aldrin, a very good afternoon to you. Now, all eyes on the spy tapes proceedings today. We hear that the NPA has announced that they will appeal. Do tell us more.
Yes, confirmation coming there from the NPA boss, Shaun Abrahams, that they will be appealing the High Court ruling that this matter, that the NPA review its decision taken back in 2009 by the acting NPA boss, Mse. Remember that Judge Ledwaba, when delivering that judgment, said that Mse, in his own words, stated that he was quite angry at the conduct of the former Scorpions boss, Leonard McCarthy, as well as Bulelani Ngcuka, that the processes of the NPA were manipulated, and Judge Ledwaba said that he acted impulsively and thus led to a decision which was irrational. However, though, the NPA today saying that they stick by the decision. I also tried to get Shaun Abrahams to speak on the record whether it is still the NPA's conviction that reinstating the charges against President Jacob Zuma, he won't be able to receive a fair trial. Remember, those were some of the basis on which Mse decided to drop the charges. Advocate Abrahams saying today that he will not get into that matter, but rather, when I was looking through the court documents that have been submitted to this, that have been submitted rather by the State Attorney to the High Court appealing this decision, it indicates that the NPA still believes that the decision taken by Mse back in 2009 was a correct decision.
What was the reaction of the DA if they were in the House today?
Well, the DA was not part of this press briefing. We're still waiting for a statement from them. But just looking at some of the reaction coming through on Twitter, some people accusing the NPA of being politically influenced in this decision to go and appeal this matter. Shaun Abrahams came out and he said that that's not the case, that the NPA will always ensure that it acts without fear, favor, nor prejudice. He emphasized this about 6 times throughout the 30-minute press briefing that he was giving, that some politicians as well should stay away from trying to influence the NPA, as well as businessmen. He also said that he himself, as the head of the NPA, is not influenced by any businessman or controlled by any businessman or the NPA for that matter.
Now, on the issue of Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan, what's their decision with that?
Well, he actually went to quite at lengths with that on that part of the press briefing. Remember that the reason why we came here was basically to hear whether they will appeal that High Court ruling on President Jacob Zuma's corruption charges. But he started off with trying to clear the air around the so-called imminent arrest expected of Pravin Gordhan. He's saying that there is not such a case. Pravin Gordhan will not be arrested. He also accused the media and said the media should take responsibility for the current economic crisis that the country is facing, and we have come up with these stories as the media, and he was just trying to clear the air that the finance minister will not be arrested. He's not facing espionage charges. But during an interview that I had with him earlier on, I tried to push him to say whether or not Pravin Gordhan is indeed a suspect in the SARS rogue unit investigation, and he would not go into that case.
Right, before we wrap up, Aldrin, now in both scenarios, what does this then translate to?
Can you just repeat that question? Missed you there?
In both scenarios, Aldrin, what does these announcement today then translate to?
Well, first of all, now we know that this matter around President Jacob Zuma facing corruption charges, that won't be happening anytime soon. If the NPA has its way, the NPA obviously going to the Supreme Court of Appeal to appeal this matter, and chances are that it will also go all the way to the Constitutional Court. There was also a question, why not go straight to the Constitutional Court and let the Constitutional Court justices ventilate this matter and come to finality when it comes around the issues around separation of powers. And then on the side of Pravin Gordhan, we know now that he will not be arrested. He's not facing espionage charges. But what we don't know is whether he is indeed a suspect in this matter. The NPA will not confirm this. But when I asked Abrahams about whether he has spoken to the finance minister, he said that he had received a letter from the legal team of the finance minister, and he would not go into the contents of that letter.
Thank you for that update. Aldrin Sampear, live to us from Pretoria.